For those of you in the know, wrestlers tend to fall into two categories, heels and faces. Heels are the bad guys, faces are the good guys, and generally the storylines play out along those lines. Tiger Mask, the original at least, fell into the camp of being the bad guy while he was out wrestling in America. But now that he was back in his home country, Naoto Date, the original Tiger Mask, takes a new tack. While he was in his first match, he overheard a child celebrating his villainy and realized that he had to change something. First being published in 1968, Tiger Mask was a character that typified the direction that Japan as a country was going in. Stay with me for this one, folks. So because of its imperial aspirations, in the early half of the 20th century, Japan as a country was being faced with the repercussions of its actions. They were trying to go face by the time Tiger Mask started being published, so this resonated with adults and kids alike. You may think it's a bit of a stretch, but you'd be surprised how much this kind of media will resonate with a country on the mend. It should also be marked down that Tiger Mask's former fighting style was a no-holds-barred beatdown that also helped to put the viewing public in mind of former victories, while having to atone for them at the same time. The character of Tiger Mask going from oppressive and dangerous to someone who fights for justice and all things good is an easy character arc to make, but it's the kind of thing that people like seeing nonetheless. It's important to note that in the world of Tiger Mask, pro wrestling is not only super real but extremely dangerous and can border on bloodsport at times. So when Tiger's Den, his former training camp, starts sending assassins and evil wrestlers after him, now Naoto has to fight for his life for 105 episodes, spanning from 1969 to 1971. As far as the people he fights, he goes up against anyone and everyone, which includes everything from luchadors to a yeti. And yes, this includes people who are technically cheating just by getting in the ring. While Naoto Date would overcome every challenge presented to him, he would not see the end of his own career as he was hit by a car at the end of the show and died ignominiously. He threw his mask into the river before expiring, and Tiger Mask would be dead and buried. While Naoto would remain dead, and the name Tiger Mask would be taken up again in the series Tiger Mask Nisei, featuring a new wrestler taking on the name. While it could be forgiven for being considered a rinse and repeat, it was still popular enough that people kept tuning in. Actual wrestlers took on the mantle of Tiger Mask, or similar characters, to varied success, and he was featured regularly in several Japan-only pro wrestling games. Naoto's habit of donating his winnings to struggling orphanages also caught on in the early 2010s, in which several people took his name as an alias to donate to charity. Finally, in 2016, the anime Tiger Mask W started its release, which seems to have wiped out Tiger Mask Nisei from continuity. This featured two young wrestlers taking face and heel styles as Tiger Mask and Tiger the Dark against GWM Wrestling, who's trying to take over the wrestling world across the globe. So why does no one know about Tiger Mask? He's a very Japanese character for Japanese audiences, almost to the point of exclusivity, and the character's ultimate battles are extremely violent and gory, so much for bringing them stateside. The show did come out in 1969, and interest in pro wrestling in America wasn't quite as high as it would become in the 80s and 90s. Additionally, the show doesn't look very good, even by the standards of the time. With Crunchyroll's release of Tiger Mask W, it has sparked a bit of interest in the character yet, and anime fans and wrestling fans overlapped more than one might think. But the original character's days are over, in spite of being very over in the ring. So here's to you, the storm blowing in the jungle of the white mat, Tiger Mask. 虎だ、虎だ、お前は虎になるのだ。嵐が吹き荒